We all wish for smooth, happy, and good times. But what we often fail to see is that the bad times are what make the good times feel truly precious. Without the storm, would we ever really appreciate the sunshine? There was once a man who loved going for morning walks. Every day he passed by a gardener planting seeds in a small patch. One day he asked, don't you get tired doing this every day? We often perceive strength as something visible, muscles, power, loud voices, or firm decisions. But real strength, the kind that shapes our character, is often invisible. It's the strength we discover in silence, in solitude, and in suffering. Life has a subtle way of revealing this to us. When everything is going well, when the road is smooth and the weather is fair, we cruise through life without ever really knowing what we're made of. But the moment things go wrong, when we face loss, betrayal, rejection, or failure, suddenly we are pulled into a space where comfort cannot protect us. And in that discomfort, the soul starts searching for strength it didn't even know it had. In tough times, we begin to realize that we can endure more than we thought possible, that we can stand back up after we've fallen, that we can keep moving even with a heart that's hurting and a mind that's full of doubt. The strength we find here isn't loud, it's quiet, firm, and deeply personal. It's not about pretending to be okay. It's about facing pain with honesty, but not letting that pain define us. Yeah? Many people who have faced great adversity, whether it's the loss of a loved one, financial collapse, or emotional breakdown, often say afterward, I didn't know I had it in me. And that's exactly the point. They didn't until life revealed it. Think of a tree. In the storm, the weak branches break off, but the roots go deeper. Similarly, when life shakes us, the outer layers, the pride, the ego, the illusion, may break away, but what remains is our core. Our inner foundation becomes stronger. The challenges we face reveal who we truly are, not who we pretend to be. And perhaps that is one of the greatest gifts hidden inside painful experiences, the chance to discover our real strength, our hidden capacity, and our ability to survive, rebuild, and even thrive after everything seems lost. We stop seeing ourselves as fragile and start recognizing our resilience. And from there, a new life begins, not free of hardship, but full of strength. Clarity is one of the rarest and most precious gifts life can offer. But ironically, it is often born from confusion and chaos. When everything in life is going well, it's easy to become distracted. We get caught up in the noise, chasing success, attention, validation, and sometimes even things we don't truly care about. Our days become filled with activities, our minds flooded with opinions, and our hearts cluttered with expectations. Some our own, many borrowed from others. But when life takes an unexpected turn, when something we relied on suddenly breaks down, or someone we trusted walks away, that disruption forces us to stop. And in that stillness, after the dust begins to settle, we often see things we couldn't see before. The fog lifts. Think about a glass of muddy water. As long as you keep stirring it, it remains cloudy. But if you let it sit still for a while, the dirt settles to the bottom and the water becomes clear. In the same way, difficult situations often bring a pause to our otherwise fast-moving lives. And in that pause, the mental noise quiets down. That's when clarity appears. Was that job worth all the stress? Was that relationship giving us peace or just preventing us from being alone? Was the path we were on taking us to fulfillment or just further into emptiness masked by routine? These aren't questions we often ask when we're comfortable, but discomfort, pain, and confusion push us to look beneath the surface. They strip away the layers of denial and show us the reality we've been avoiding. Clarity doesn't always come as a loud voice. Sometimes it's a gentle whisper that grows louder in the absence of distraction. It might tell you to let go of something you've been forcing. It might nudge you towards something you've always loved but were too afraid to pursue. It might remind you of the values you've compromised or the boundaries you've ignored. And once you've tasted that clarity, once your heart aligns with your truth, it becomes very hard to go back to living blindly. You start making decisions not out of fear, but out of purpose. You start valuing peace over popularity, depth over drama, and truth over temporary relief. In this way, what seemed like a painful setback becomes a powerful moment of alignment. The bad moment doesn't just end, it enlightens. And from that light, we begin to walk a more conscious, meaningful path. It's often said that you can't truly understand someone's pain until you've walked a mile in their shoes. But sometimes life doesn't just ask us to walk in someone else's shoes. It makes us walk barefoot through our own storms. It is in these difficult seasons that we come face to face with our own vulnerability, our own fears, and our own brokenness. And something subtle yet powerful begins to shift within us. The moment you've experienced the ache of loss, you begin to notice when others are silently grieving. When you've battled anxiety or depression, you become more patient with someone who seems withdrawn or irritable. When you've faced rejection, you start treating people with more kindness because you know how heavy even silent judgment can feel. Pain softens us. It strips away arrogance, judgment, and superficiality. It replaces those with gentleness, compassion, and understanding. And in a world that often moves too fast to notice what others are feeling, empathy becomes one of the most beautiful byproducts of hardship. Interestingly, before we face adversity, our responses to others' struggles can be shallow, even if well-intentioned. We might offer advice quickly, minimize their pain, or assume they'll get over it in time. But once we've gone through our own valleys, when we've spent nights wrestling with doubt, or days pretending to be okay when we weren't, we stop trying to fix people. We start trying to feel with them. That's empathy, the ability to sit with someone in their mess without needing to clean it up. It's not about having the perfect words, but about offering a presence that says you're not alone. In this way, our own suffering becomes a bridge to connect with others more deeply. We begin to see pain not as an isolated punishment, but as a universal language. Everyone suffers, just in different ways. When we let our pain teach us, rather than harden us, it becomes a tool for healing, ours and others. And through this shared humanity, we not only grow closer to others, but also become instruments of comfort in a world that is often silently crying for kindness. Growth is a word we all love. We chase it in our careers, relationships, skills, and even personal development. But what we often forget is that growth rarely happens in comfort. Real lasting growth is almost always shaped by challenge. It's in the bad times that we are pushed beyond what we thought were our limits. When everything is going smoothly, there's little motivation to change or evolve. We settle into routines, we avoid discomfort, and we cling to what feels familiar. But the moment life shakes us, when we fail, when we are hurt, when plans fall apart, that's when we are forced to adapt, reevaluate, and stretch ourselves. Just like muscles grow when they're torn and rebuilt, our emotional and spiritual strength grows when we're broken and forced to rebuild from within. The bad moments become mirrors, revealing the areas we need to work on, the fears we must face, and the potential we never knew we had. Consider the story of a seed. It spends much of its early life buried in darkness under the soil, unseen and unnoticed. That darkness might look like the end, but it's actually the beginning. The pressure from the soil and the tension of breaking through the ground are not signs of destruction, they are signs of life preparing to bloom. Similarly, when we go through dark seasons in our lives, we may feel buried, but perhaps we're not buried, we're planted. And in that soil of pain and uncertainty, something powerful is taking place. We are growing roots, the roots of resilience, patience, wisdom, and faith. These qualities don't appear overnight, and they rarely come from ease. They are forged in silence, in struggle, in the places we'd rather not be. But once they are formed, they become the foundation for everything beautiful that follows. Growth shaped in hardship isn't shallow, it's deep, lasting, and unshakable. Over time, when we look back, we often realize that our most transformative seasons were the ones we prayed would end. The heartbreak that made us more open, the failure that forced us to rethink our direction, the betrayal that taught us to value integrity. These painful experiences become turning points in our journey, not because they were enjoyable, but because they were educational. They peeled back the layers of who we thought we were and revealed who we could become. The discomfort of bad times is often the very thing that wakes us up to our higher purpose, our deeper values, and our hidden strength. So while we may not welcome hardship with open arms, we can at least respect its role. Because in the end, the bad doesn't just test us, it transforms us. And through that transformation, we don't just grow, we evolve.